Smart English Podcast. Before we start, a game. I've been practicing something all week, and I want to test you on it. You have to say no to me 3 times. Rules: no sorry, no excuses, no let me think about it. Just the word. Are you ready?
Easy. I'm the best no-sayer I know. My friends call me the human boundary. Hit me with your best request.
Request 1. Can I borrow your car this weekend?
I'd love to, obviously, but I need it on Saturday. Sorry, there's this thing. I'm helping my sister move. No, wait, that's Sunday. Honestly, sorry, I just can't. I've got plans.
That was a no with 2 apologies and a full itinerary. The answer was supposed to be 1 word. Strike 1. Request 2. Will you host this episode alone next week so I can travel?
Oh, well, I could try, but I'm terrible with the recording software, and I'd probably forget the intro and then the outro, and is there nobody else who could?
No, that wasn't a no. That was a biography of excuses. Strike 2. Request 3. The final test. Will you look after my cat for 2 weeks while I'm away?
No. Okay, fine, bring the cat, but only for 1 week.
3 requests, 3 failures. You said no 0 times, and you ended up with a cat you never wanted. Hey, English learners, welcome back. I'm Emma. This is Jake, apparently the human doormat. Today we're talking about saying no without feeling guilty, why the word gets stuck, why we pay for our yeses with resentment, and how to refuse without the guilt trip.
I prefer human boundary in training. But if you're laughing at me right now, you've already learned today's first lesson. Most of us have no idea how much we say yes out of fear.
So let's start there. Why is it so hard? A stranger asks us for something and we say yes with a smile, while our brain screams no. Where does that come from?
I think we're trained young. As kids, we hear, be nice, share, don't make trouble, and we learn that no is a naughty word. Add a few you're so selfish moments, and the lesson is set. Your needs come last. And so we grow up saying yes like obedient children, long after the teacher is gone.
And the training never stops. As adults, the guilt just gets more sophisticated. You don't get told off anymore. You get the disappointed face, the long pause, the, oh, I understand, don't worry about me.
The don't worry about me, the most dangerous sentence in the English language. It's a guilt trip wearing a cardigan, and we fall for it every single time.
And for some of us, it becomes an identity. I'm the one who always helps. I'm the reliable one. If I say no, who am I?
Yes, the yes person label. And the sad part is people stop asking what you want. They just assume the answer's yes, because you've spent years teaching them you're a pushover.
Okay, time for the confession I promised. Tell me about the bachelor party, the story you've been avoiding for 2 years.
Right. My best friend Tom asked me to be his best man. And then, in the same conversation, he asked me to plan the whole bachelor party weekend. 2 yeses in 60 seconds. I couldn't turn him down. The words no and Tom simply don't go together in my brain.
So what happened? 6 months of planning?
6 months and a shocking amount of money. Every weekend was spreadsheets and deposit dramas, and slowly, quietly, I started resenting the guy I'd known since we were 7. I'd look at his name on my phone and feel cold. That's the thing nobody warns you about. Saying yes out of guilt doesn't bring you closer to people. It poisons the friendship.
And did it blow up? The wedding must have come eventually.
It came, it went, everyone had a lovely time, and afterwards, I almost ghosted him. 2 months of silence. And then he called me out of the blue and said, "Did I do something wrong? Because I feel like I'm losing my best friend and I don't know why." And I had to admit the truth. I'd said yes to him because I couldn't say no, and then blamed him for it.
Oh, Jake. So what did he say when you told him the truth?
He said, and I'll never forget this, "Why didn't you just say no? I'd have found someone else. It's a party, not a kidney." And he was right. The no I was too scared to say would have taken 10 seconds. The yes cost me 6 months and almost cost me my best friend.
The no would have taken 10 seconds. That's the whole episode in one sentence. Okay, my story is the opposite shape. I said no, and then I punished myself for it anyway.
Oh, I love a self-punishing story. Tell me.
2 Christmases ago, my mother asked me to host the family dinner. 30 people at my house. And I said no. Politely, kindly, but clearly. I can't do it this year. Her face fell. She said, "Oh," and hung up quickly. And I spent the entire month having second thoughts, even though I knew I was right.
The face falling, that's the image that haunts us, isn't it? So did you cave? Did you call back and say yes after all? Because that's the pattern, isn't it? The guilt arrives and we undo our own no.
I didn't cave, and that's the strange part of the story. I carried the guilt anyway. And then, at New Year's, she said completely casually, "Oh, by the way, your cousin volunteered to host next year. She's very excited." She'd moved on in 2 days. I'd been serving a month of guilt for a crime nobody remembered.
A month of guilt for a crime nobody remembered. That's the title of this episode if we had one. And I love that you offered what you could instead. You said no to hosting, but you showed up early and brought the dessert. A no doesn't have to be a 0.
Exactly. That's the counteroffer. I can't host, but I can bring the dessert and wash up. It's a no with the door still open. You protect your limit and you stay generous, both at once.
A no with a door still open. That's the shape of a healthy no, honestly. And it's why I want to ask the deeper question. Why does the guilt fire even when nobody's actually hurt?
I think the answer is old, like cave-dwelling old. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your group meant death. No tribe, no food, no protection. So our brains wired disappointing someone as a life-threatening event.
Exactly. The guilt is ancient software running on modern hardware. It can't tell the difference between my friend is mildly annoyed and I've been exiled from the tribe. And that's why the guilt doesn't listen to reason. It's not a thought, it's a reflex.
And you can't argue with a reflex, but you can learn to let it pass without obeying it. Which brings me to today's real skill. Not feeling no guilt, but not letting the guilt make your decisions.
And here's where I want to push back on you, Emma, because I know you're about to defend the guilt.
You know me too well. Fine, I'll defend it. Sometimes the guilt is telling you something real. If you say no and feel guilty, maybe you're actually being selfish. Maybe the guilt is a signal that you crossed your own line.
I hear you, but I think you're describing something else. You're describing regret, and regret is information. It tells you about your values. I should have helped. That mattered to me. But guilt? Guilt fires whether or not you did anything wrong. I felt guilty about Christmas, and I was right to say no.
So guilt is a reflex, and regret is information. Learn to tell them apart. And here's the test. Guilt asks, what will they think of me? Regret asks, what do I think of what I did?
Their face versus your values. That's genuinely useful. And it explains why we over-explain our no's. We're trying to manage their face, to make the guilt go away by handing them reasons.
And over-explaining is a trap. The more reasons you give, the more material they have to argue with. It's like handing them a list of doors to knock on. So let's get practical. What actually works? Give me the scripts, Jake.
Script 1. The grateful no. I'm honored you asked, and I can't. It's warm, it's final, and there's nothing to argue with. Script 2. The delayed yes. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. It's not a no yet, but it breaks the reflex of instant agreement.
And script 3, the broken record. Whatever they say, you repeat the same sentence calmly. I can't take that on right now. But why? I can't take that on right now. It feels robotic, but it works. There's nothing to grab onto.
And the golden rule underneath all the scripts, don't over-explain. One sentence of no, maybe one sentence of kindness, then stop talking. The silence after your no is not your problem to fill.
The silence after your no is not yours to fill. That's going on a sticky note. But what about the second wave? You say no, and they push. But why? Just this once. What do you do then?
You become the broken record again. I can't, I'm afraid. Please, I can't, I'm afraid. You don't owe them a better reason. One no, repeated kindly, is a complete answer. And the more they push, the more they prove your no was needed.
And here's a confession. Even with all the scripts, I still feel the guilt sometimes. It still wakes me up at 3 in the morning. Does that mean I'm not doing it right?
No, it means you're human. The guilt doesn't disappear, it gets quieter. It's like a dog that barks at the door. Eventually it learns the door isn't a threat, but it still twitches when it hears a knock. The goal isn't silence, it's not obeying.
The dog still twitches. I love that. Okay, let's bring this to our learners because saying no in a second language is a whole extra level of hard. You're not just finding the words, you're finding the courage to use them.
Oh, absolutely. You're already nervous about the words, and now you have to refuse someone in a language that isn't yours? It's no wonder learners say yes, yes, sure to everything, including things they don't understand.
The yes, yes reflex. I've seen it 1,000 times. Someone asks a learner a question, and the learner agrees to anything, because stopping to say, sorry, I didn't catch that, feels like a failure. But that sentence is a gift. It's a no to confusion.
Exactly. Could you say that again? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you slow down a little? Those are polite no's. No's to speed, to confusion, to pretending. And native speakers respect them. Nobody minds repeating. They mind being lied to with a smile.
And there's a beautiful set of phrases for declining in English, the graceful refusals. I'd love to, but I can't. That doesn't work for me, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to pass on this one. All warm, all clear, none of them needing an explanation.
And here's the meta lesson for learners. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. If you say yes to every opportunity, you're saying no to your sleep, your focus, your progress. Sometimes the most productive sentence in English is, no thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready for the game. It's called yes or no. I'll give you a request and you answer yes or no, plus the exact sentence you'd say. But here's the twist. The right answer isn't always no.
Ooh, I like that. The point isn't to refuse everything, it's to actually choose. Hit me.
Request 2. A colleague asks you to cover their shift for the 3rd time this month.
No, I can't this time, but let me know next month. Warm, clear, done. Request 2. Your grandmother asks you to come for her birthday dinner.
Yes, instantly, no hesitation. I wouldn't miss it. Some things are a yes before the question finishes. The problem was never the yes. It was the yes you never chose.
Request 3. A friend asks to borrow money you genuinely can't spare.
No, and the honest version, I can't lend money right now, and I didn't want to say yes and then resent you for it. That last part is the important one. And request 4. Your boss asks you to lead a project you're actually excited about.
Yes, a chosen yes. I'd love to take that on. I'm not saying yes because I'm scared. I'm saying yes because I want to. That's the whole difference. Choosing versus obeying.
Choosing versus obeying. That's the grounded truth we've been circling all episode. The goal was never to say no more often. It's to make every yes a choice, and every no a kindness.
And the realistic version, because we promised honesty, you'll still slip. You'll still say yes to something you don't want, and you'll still feel the guilt. That's not failure. That's practice. The only question is, does it happen less often than last year?
Does it happen less often than last year? That's the only scoreboard that matters.
But here's the part I want to be honest about. The people who love you will sometimes be genuinely disappointed. Not guilt-tripping, just sad. And that's allowed. Their disappointment is not your emergency.
Their disappointment is not your emergency. That's the sentence I wish I'd heard before the Christmas story. You can hold their feelings with kindness without taking responsibility for them. Okay, I think we've earned the nerdy bit. Are you ready to slow down and do word tour?
Always ready. It's word tour time, where we take the words that actually showed up in our conversation and give them a proper home. Emma, you start us off.
Word 1, to turn someone down. It means to refuse or reject a request, invitation, or offer. Example, I had to turn down the invitation because I was already busy.
And my example, he asked her to be his +1, and she turned him down, kindly but clearly. Notice it's softer than reject. You can turn someone down and still be friends. Word 2 from me, a guilt trip.
A guilt trip. when someone makes you feel guilty on purpose to get you to do what they want, and the verb to guilt trip someone. Example, my aunt guilt tripped me into coming to the family lunch.
And mine, don't let them guilt trip you. A real request doesn't need emotional blackmail. Word 3, a pushover.
A pushover, someone who's too easy to persuade or take advantage of. Example, I used to be a pushover. I'd agree to anything just to keep the peace.
And mine, the team quickly realized their new manager was a pushover, and it went downhill from there. Word 4, to stand your ground.
To stand your ground, to keep your position and refuse to back down, even under pressure. Example, everyone pressured her to change her mind, but she stood her ground.
And mine, it takes real courage to stand your ground with family, but it's the only way they learn. Word 5, the last one, to have second thoughts.
To have second thoughts, to start doubting a decision you've already made. Example, I said yes immediately, but now I'm having second thoughts.
And mine, she had second thoughts about the contract, and she was right to trust them. Second thoughts are the mind catching up with the yes. And that closes the tour, unless you want to go straight into say it better, which I know you do.
I do. Say it better. Plain sentences get the upgrade they deserve. First, I don't want to do it. That's honest, but it sounds blunt, almost rude. Say it better. I'm going to have to turn you down. Why? Turn down is the polite, natural phrasal verb for refusing. It softens the no without weakening it.
Second, she made me feel bad about saying no. Fine, but wordy. Say it better, she guilt-tripped me. One verb does the whole job. It's precise, idiomatic, and it names exactly what happened. Third, people always use me.
People always use me. True, but it sounds like a complaint about others. Say it better. I'm a bit of a pushover. The focus moves to you, and that's the first step to changing it. You can't fix people. You can fix pushover. Fourth, I will not change my answer.
Say it better, I'm standing my ground. It's stronger and more natural. It pictures you planted, not budging. And fifth, the last one, after I said yes, I wanted to change my decision.
Say it better. I had second thoughts after I said yes. It's the natural idiom, and it's the exact feeling, not a full change of mind, just doubt knocking at the door. 5 sentences, 5 upgrades, and suddenly no sounds easy.
Suddenly no sounds easy, famous last words, but I like the optimism. And that's a perfect bridge to the closing because we promised each other we'd say what we're taking with us. Emma, you first.
I'm taking guilt is a reflex, regret is information. When the guilt fires, I'll ask which one it is before I do anything. And I'm taking my own story, a month of guilt for a crime nobody remembered. I'm done serving sentences for imaginary crimes.
And I'm taking the cat. Every unexamined yes is a cat you didn't ask for, and I'm going to stop adopting them. This week, before I say yes, I'm asking myself, do I actually want this, or am I just scared of the face?
The face versus your values. It keeps coming back to that. And hey, if this episode helped you say no to something or helped you forgive yourself for a yes you never chose, share it with a friend who needs it. And if you want us in your ears every week, the subscribe button is right there, and saying yes to it is one of the good yeses.
One of the good yeses. I'm stealing that for the newsletter. And to everyone listening, your no is not a rejection of the person. It's a rejection of the request, and those are completely different things.
And if you're learning English, practice the graceful no like you practice any phrase. Say it out loud in the shower. I'd love to, but I can't. Say it to your mirror. I'm going to have to pass. By the time you need it, it'll be there. That's how every new skill starts. A sentence rehearsed until it's yours.
The no is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger with use. Start small. Turn down one thing this week, just one, and notice that the world doesn't end. That's the evidence you need.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. Say yes to what you choose and no to what you don't. And don't apologize for either one. Remember how this episode started? 3 requests, 0 no's, and a cat.
And the cat is still on my sofa. But next time I'll say the word. Take care, keep learning, keep speaking, and may your yeses be chosen and your nos be kind. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone, and thank you for being here. You're the reason we keep talking.
And remember, every time you say no with kindness, you're teaching the people around you what honesty sounds like. It's a gift, even when it doesn't feel like one. See you next time.
See you next time. And one last thing. If you're still carrying guilt from a no you said years ago, maybe it's time to check. Was it guilt or regret? If it was regret, you can still act. If it was guilt, let it go. You served the sentence already.
You served the sentence already. That's the whole episode in 2 sentences. Bye, everyone.